that 2020 season abysmal. The Gamecocks go 2-8, but they pull the trigger on Will Muschamp. And then, of course, at that point, they were really the first ones to get out in front of it. And from that point, of course, the rumors start swirling. The coaching search is on. We hear the suspects, the usual suspects, the Hugh Freezes, the Billy Napiers, the Jamie Chadwell. Yeah, the Jamie Chadwells. We started hearing those guys' names. Shane Beamer down the list. Before we get into Coach Beamer, I'll ask you, when that move was made and the Gamecocks were officially shopping for the next head football coach, was there a guy or a short list of guys that you expected them to go after and get? And where did Shane Beamer fall on that list for you?
You know, Shane's name's been thrown around a lot, and for good reason. And there's a theory I kind of have on that that we'll get into. But the names, I thought Jamie Chadwell was going to get it. I really thought Chadwell was going to get it with the year Coastal had, being in that state, all the momentum. I thought he had a good chance to get it, was kind of surprised there. Here's the thing with Hugh Freeze. Eventually, Hugh Freeze is going to get a job in the SEC. Heck, I think if they fire Harbaugh, he may get the Michigan job. Remember, bookmark that. Remember, I said that. But the problem with Hugh Freeze is not that you can't hire him to be a head coach in the SEC. You can. But what they said at the SEC office is, if you hire Hugh Freeze back in the SEC, you will be audited every year, every single year.
Yep.
And I'm not saying cheating or do any of that stuff, whatever, but stuff happens even outside of the head coach's control. That one thing happens. If Hugh Freeze goes to South Carolina bad, one guy, there's one violation, it's going to get blown up times 1,000. You're going to get 10 times the hit. So when you're weighing that decision, Hugh Freeze is an unbelievable football coach, unbelievable offensive mind, wins everywhere he goes. Hell, Chris, he beat Alabama at Ole Miss twice. He beat him but it's probably why they got on probation. He beat him with Bo Wallace. So, you're going to hear that name thrown around eventually. I think you'll see him, especially as time goes on, maybe even going outside the conference and coming back. Billy Napier is a guy, there's heavy talk with him in Auburn as well. When they made that move, I think Billy's going to be a tremendous coach as a young guy. But Shane, to me, is in the top tier. And I say that, Chris, because when you become a head coach for the first time, there's kind of two different elements. Okay. Sometimes you hire guys that are coordinators that have never been head coaches. That's obviously a big risk, because if you've never been a head coach, you don't know what it's like sitting in that chair. You can't be as hands-on as you would if you were the OC, where you just get to control the offense and you can call the plays. Now, there's head coaches that call the plays and do all that, but you have to be able to give up some power and relinquish some power, especially to a defensive coordinator if you're an offensive guy, or an offensive coordinator if you're a defensive guy. When you do that, and when you're not used to that and the structure and having to do all the media stuff outside of it, not being able to be in the meeting room all the time typically, and there's some circumstances where that doesn't happen, but it's tough and it's a risk. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. Most times, in my opinion, it doesn't. Then you have guys that have been head coaches at smaller places and move up that understand what that head coach role is. Those guys tend to have more success early than the other guys do, but it doesn't always work out. Then there's kind of this very short list of guys that are kind of a mix of both. Because if you look at Shane Beamer, number one, he's Frank Beamer's son. He knows what it's like to be a head coach because he saw it with his own eyes. He understands how his father operated. He's been to multiple places with a bunch of responsibility, from recruiting coordinator. You can go down the list of special teams, everything. So he's seen the different elements of it. And he's really been a head coach. If you look at him at Oklahoma, he was getting primed to be a head coach, not at Oklahoma. He didn't go to Oklahoma to be a great assistant. He went to Oklahoma to just add another notch to that resume, to be able to say, listen, I've been under Lincoln Riley. I can go down this list of places I've been, and here's why. But when you think of Shane Beamer, to me, you think about South Carolina being good. You think about South Carolina recruiting well, especially in-state. Think about guys like Alshon Jeffrey, Jadeveon Clowney. You go down the list. Back when South Carolina with Spurrier was winning 9 games, 10 games. Heck, they played Auburn in the SEC championship. They're competing for the East. And I think people kind of hold on to that. And that means Shane knows how to do it. And that's the biggest thing. It's not going to be a quick fix. I know we'll get into that, but I think Shane Beamer was the best hire that South Carolina would have made. I could have made. I would say him or Jamie Chadwell, and I think they're going to be pretty happy when you look back. Now they got to be patient, and I know that's tough for any SEC fan base. But I think he's a guy that once he gets that roster right and develops some depth, they're going to have a chance to compete. Now, are they going to win 10 games every year at South Carolina? No, especially with what Georgia has and Florida has. But South Carolina should be competitive, and Shane Beamer has the recipe to do that.